Hey everybody, we are here in freezing cold. It's frigid here.
It's like 59.
It's
crazy.
It's like mid 60s in Mesa, Arizona, which is I almost had to wear my coat. It was so cold, you guys. They were complaining about it being cold here.
I was complaining. Let's be
Evelio was complaining about being cold because where he grew up in Nepal, it doesn't ever get this cold.
That's right.
I am excited to be here on site at BLT Kitchens, which is an old. What was this building?
This was an old country buffet.
Old country buffet. It's fantastic. There's an Office Max and there's food trucks everywhere, and it feels like a wonderful place of joy. And we're going to talk about AZ Lemonade Stand, about your story, about your history. Evelio might chime in with a couple of questions, or he'll just sit here and be a pretty face
and just drink lemonade.
We're going to taste test all this lemonade. So I'm excited to be joined by Kyle Hollenbeck. He is also a Notre Dame fan.
Yeah,
as you can see here. And as of this recording, they play tonight, right?
I think they play in like 40 minutes.
They play in 40 minutes. We better get this recording over with very quickly so Kyle can watch the game. Well, thanks for being on the podcast. It's going to be fun.
Appreciate you having me. Thank you, guys.
So do you want to start with these wonderful mason jars?
Yeah.
And tell us about AZ Lemonade Stand, or how do we get here?
Yeah,
Start from the very beginning.
Absolutely. My co-founder and I started Aioli Burger, a food truck, about a decade ago, and he's always made amazing lemonade, and he put it in these mason jars. Fast forward to 2020, we opened up a location inside of a Fry's grocery store, which is Kroger out here in Arizona, an Aioli Burger. And they said, "What are you going to put in the cold case?" And we said, "We make burgers." So Tommy and I were trying to figure out what we wanted to put in this cold case. We started putting mason jar lemonade in there. I think we slapped an Aioli Burger sticker on it. Okay. So very appetizing, strawberry lemonade with an Aioli Burger logo on it. And it's sold still.
Aioli Burger flavored strawberry lemonade.
Yeah.
Sounds incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing we even got this far, to be honest with you. So it started working, and we started asking the Fry's Kroger people, "Hey, we want to get into more stores. What do we need to do?" They go, "You need to put a brand behind this." And that's kind of where AZ Lemonade Stand came from.
I love it. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, and then I'm just looking at so you went from strawberry lemonade, and then you've got all these different flavors. Now you've got the zero.
Yeah.
You've got the glass jars, the plastic bottles. From that glass with the Aioli Burger stamp on it, what was the first iteration? What was the next iteration of that packaging in?
Yeah, I mean, we were buying ball jars and putting in lemonade, cold fill. Once we started dealing with distributors, we realized 7-day shelf life isn't good.
That's gonna be rough.
Yeah. So
by the time it gets to the distributor, it's like, this is expired.
Let alone on the shelf.
Yeah.
Then sold, right?
What was that commercial? There was a commercial recently where it's like some ant. Oh, it's like a Geico commercial where there's like an ant who's like expired. That's what they were doing with your stuff.
Yeah, it's is that where you become your parents commercial or something?
I don't remember what it is. I just remember that expired.
So we were dealing with that. So we had a hot fill. Luckily enough, my co-founder, business partner Tommy, his dad was a microbiologist and worked in food manufacturing for 30 plus years, from coffee creamers to nuts to. So we had a food scientist in our who was retired and bored. So he helped us along with Matt Farrow from Iconic Cocktails. He was actually one of our tenants at BLT Kitchens. Helped us make it shelf stable. So preservatives, heat up to 180 degrees. So you needed to have the mason jar that could get it. So that was the first kind of expansion or iteration we did.
And you were doing cold fill. I mean, you're literally putting it in here cold.
Yeah.
And then it's just gonna expire when it does, right?
Yeah.
Food's gonna go bad. If you're doing a hot fill with the preservatives, you're going in at 180, then it's cooling off.
Yeah, then it's cooling. We tip it upside down. It's to help kill any bacteria if there was any in there. But we're doing it in our own facility, so we're able to keep an eye on that. But we get 6 months shelf life. We actually got a year, but some of the lighter colors change. And my business partner is a chef, so he's like 6 months.
It's all about the look.
Yeah.
You know what's funny in the I'm guessing maybe you know this, maybe you don't, but in like the grocery, like the meat section, like the fresh meats. When they switched from, it was like modified atmospheric pressure there's still a lot in that kind of packaging with like the film that kind of bubbles up over the top to a vacuum skin pack. The biggest problem was that they were getting much longer shelf life, but it wasn't keeping the color of the meat, like red or whatever it was. It could gray out just a little bit. And even though the meat was totally good, just consumers weren't buying it because they were just like, I don't like the color. And then they were
buy with your eyes when it comes to food.
Buy with your eyes.
Yep. Well, that's super cool. And so these are not filled here, right? And
they're in our other facility. So we're in our Mesa BLT Kitchens. In our Phoenix BLT Kitchens, it actually gets filled.
Got it. Evelio wishes we were at the Phoenix BLT Kitchen. He's like, where are we going? I'm like, Mesa. He's like, that's so far away. I'm like, dude, I live in Utah. You just have to drive.
Yeah, you made a pretty big trek. So.
No, so then, so just on the hot fill on this, right? You've got the glass. You turn it over, it cools off. You don't get like that compression that happens when you go from heat to cold. But then you've also got the plastic bottles.
Yeah.
So is that also hot fill or how?
We had to go into the 16-ounce plastic because my sales guys were saying golf courses, pools, gas stations are saying it's too big, it's too bulky. So we started to get into the sets, at these different gas stations and whatnot. We needed a smaller option there. So the 16-ounce plastic is what we came up with. And that is hot fill too. That can be hot fill.
Is there an issue? Now, I don't do food filling packaging. So like this is all new. Like when you do hot fill and it cools off, it doesn't like compress, go like if you're doing it too hot or if you're cooling off too quickly.
If it's too hot or if they overfill it, it can get sticky on the edges. There's a lot of things that can come into that. We definitely were running into some different issues originally. We just recently had to switch our cap because they were really hard to open. We switched to another company that, they're able to pop open a lot easier. Okay. It's like a Snapple. You got to hit the bottom of it.
Yeah.
Does it pop like the Snapple?
Yeah.
Do you have life lessons printed on the inside of it?
This says shake, tap that as easy, proudly made in Phoenix, Arizona. So we definitely try and play on the Arizona theme, but we're telling people, hey, turn around, give it a couple, taps there, and you should be good.
One time in my life, I drove a 1998 Crown Victoria.
Okay.
And I wanted to whenever I put it in reverse, play have a loudspeaker outside that said you're a big fine woman once you back that ass up. Every time, just outside, because it had it had a huge trunk.
Yeah.
That's funny that you have that on there. My question is, so on the difference between this, the plastic, why didn't you stick with, of course I'm gonna go to the labels because I love printed packaging.
Of course.
Why didn't you do the same sort of die cut on this one as you did on this one? It's such a cool look.
The pop on it.
The pop on it, yeah.
Of course, us being our own co-packer, our own manufacturer, we had to fit everything with the equipment we had. Yeah. So this bottle with the labeler, we couldn't get the die cut on the bottles. You'll see the bottle eventually evolve. We're in over 1,000 stores in Arizona, but we're still only in Arizona for the most part. We're on some of the outskirts. We're in New Mexico, we're in California, and a few places. Before we take this thing national, I think we have a couple more pivots we're going to do. Yeah. One would be that bottle. We'd like it to look more true to the mason jar, but the ones we saw now without getting our own mold were literally, they look like a pickle jar. So this isn't going to work. So the goal is to eventually have that mountain cut on it. We really want to stick to that.
That's cool. Yeah.
So that'd be version 3 or 4. We're probably on already. Version 2 or 3 right now.
No, and I think for a brand at this level, right? From when you started to where you're at now, there's been a lot of evolution that happens. A lot of times people think of I got to go to that custom bottle. I got to get a mold, but it's so expensive. You don't know if it's going to work.
Of course.
You don't know how it's going to be received. And even speaking to the team over at Coke, they're we use stock stuff all the time.
That's Coca-Cola, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just
it's a family show.
Yeah. The same thing. They'll be we're just going to a stock bottle. Let's get it on shelf, see if it works. Right? Yeah.
I mean, that's what I keep saying. It's funny. A lot of times we have these internal meetings and we're let's make this change. I go, guys, we haven't even done a survey. Really. We just know our lemonade, when you get it on the shelf, it sells. And since it's shelf stable, we're very fortunate we sell warm lemonade in a lot of places because cold space is really hard to come by, especially with the Cokes and the Pepsis of the world kind of owning that real estate. We're starting to get on their radar, I think, in Arizona. They're like, what is this? Why is this in the set? But with the mason jar, we really came into that. That's why we haven't made any big moves yet, because I'm like, hey, we don't know. Is it just the fact that the liquid's great, or is it because people are attracted to this mason jar? So we need to find out a better mold for that. So that's a good point.
Awesome.
Yeah, I love you said kind of before we started recording, you said, I used to think it was hard to get on the shelves.
Yeah.
But now I'm finding it's equally as hard to get off the shelves. So are you seeing as you grow and expand into other markets, and I'm guessing you didn't start with this whole product line, right? You've added product lines. You've got, is there like a not so secret formula? Is it the product? Because we always hear, the packaging is what sells it.
Right. Of course.
But even though this is a packaging podcast and I love talking about packaging, I also think that there is something to just the brand, the reputation, the product. They're at a golf course or a friend's house. They open up this big mason jar. They try it and they're like, oh man, I gotta go get it. Is it all encompassing, or are you just like, no, man, we are all in on packaging. Our product is the worst.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's great questions. I mean, look, the mason jar, I think, is what gets people to impulse buy it. That's what we've seen. When I moved over to these distributors, we thought, oh, job's done. We're in a distributor now. We're good. We realized very shortly that we needed to be able to really not just put the product on the shelf, but we have to go and kind of follow up on that. FIFO is a big deal, first in, first out, right? So a lot of times these guys are putting it on a shelf, and it's tough when you're with a beer distributor maybe, and they're not used to being on the juice aisle, right? Sure. So you're trying to get them to leave the beer aisle to go walk down 8 aisles to the juice aisle because you're the only SKU maybe they're working with. But I think the liquid has a lot to do with it. I would say I would be silly to say that the mason jar didn't have a huge impact on us really moving this thing, because I think it has a lot to do with it.
And I think the product color as well. I mean, it's a vibrant color, against the backdrop of the label with the mason jar. Like the whole thing, even when we first walked in, I was like, wow, that's when I can see in a retail setting when that's on a shelf, it's like, oh, this is cool.
Stands out for sure. Yeah, and that's what we were going for. I mean, our original SKUs were original prickly pear. We're in Arizona. Strawberry.
Is that an Arizona thing?
Yeah, it's a big Arizona.
Okay, all right. Yeah, of course, prickly pear.
It's like soda for Utah.
For Utah. Or fry sauce. That's another.
That is a big thing.
Fry sauce.
That's a big thing. Yeah. So original strawberry, prickly pear. We did mango, and watermelon was one. And then we're like, we just kept trying to push watermelon. When we released Huckleberry, it outperformed everything. So then we're like, guess what? Random. Huckleberry's a new core flavor. So we kind of dictate what the market does. We make a Jamaica tea. A lot of people call it Jamaica, but it's Jamaica. It's a hibiscus tea.
But that's the Huckleberry is like so unexpected, right?
And I think people just aren't used to seeing that in Arizona was a big thing too. So I think that's why
awesome.
I've been fortunate enough to have a business partner that's come up with some amazing flavor profiles, being a chef. I mean, he won Chopped in 2018. He was a Culinary Institute of America grad. He worked at the Greenbrier in West Virginia. I think every president ever has stayed there. And they have like a bunker from DC to the resort. He can't. I shouldn't be telling that. I don't think he's supposed to release that information. But
we'll have the editor cut that out.
But I mean, the flavors and the colors are what I think really grab people. That's why we rotate seasonals. So we just got done doing cranberry for the holidays. We'll be doing AZ0 now to release the sugar-free.
Do you have a pumpkin spice lemonade?
It's funny you bring that up. We got close to blood orange is one that we do. That's the closest to the fall flavor. But, passion fruit will be the next one we do. And we just kind of go through the seasons with it.
Is there, so looking at all the different colors, getting this up on shelf, if I'm starting a lemonade company, right? If I'm starting a juice company, is glass the way to go? Or is this, right? Or is it plastic?
Honestly, I wish we would have done cans. I think for what we did, it's going to work. My phase with AZ0, when I see it going, is, we're trying to go AZ zero sugar, then like maybe zero footprint, or like, what can we do for that? Can we move it towards a can eventually? You're getting a year at that point too, because the color change strictly happens from sun beating on it, light. I mean, hey, the mason jar is what got us here. I always say, let's not take our eye off the 8 ball. But we're doing gallons now. We do a gallon program. People are using it as a premium mixer behind the bar. And we have enough recognition here in Arizona now. People are like, oh, you got AZ lemonade, prickly pear, margarita? Cool. I'll take one of those. But I mean, avoid glass if you can. It's heavy. It breaks, you have to shut down the whole line. I would definitely go with plastic or can.
But like now you're all in on glass. So
I know.
You can't back out. So on your gallons, is it glass or plastic?
It's a big plastic gallon because it's not really being sold retail. Okay. I don't see it going that way. I think it's really behind the bar, use it as a mixer, or a lot of these places, fast casual places, they keep their lemonade kind of behind the counter. And a big premium thing we're telling everyone is, hey, your busboy might make it different than your hostess. So if you want it consistent every time, here's a consistent premium lemonade. So that's what we kind of say.
And the thing about glass too, I noticed. So over New Year's, we bought, because I have no idea about alcohol. Yeah. Like I'm not an alcohol person. But we bought some champagne and I was like, well, Snoop is on the label. So I'm going to buy the Snoop sparkling wine. And the bottle was a glass bottle. It was just matte black. It was awesome. And it was so heavy that we put it back in the fridge because we didn't drink it all on New Year's Eve. And I got it out and I was like, oh, there's so much left in here. And I poured it. I'm like, what? It was the heaviest glass bottle. And it was just a reminder about, especially if you're going to be going nationwide or expanding, like, of course, you start thinking about the transportation cost of glass versus can versus plastic. And it's like, I think that call it like the social media warriors who are just like, plastic bad, glass good. Yeah. Forget about all of the behind the scenes stuff, right? Like you talk about, well, glass can break on a line. It can, our product can go, we could have a longer shelf life, which means, a whole bunch of benefits from a profitability standpoint to a climate standpoint and all that. But you can't put all of that onto a beautiful label, like
but all these things. The one thing that Adam is forgetting to tell you is that with glass, you've got to protect it. So now you've got cardboard dividers. You've got like massive boxes to be able to protect this to get it from point A to point B. Versus plastic, you can just kind of shove them all in.
Of course, and I think they say what. I think I was talking with my distributor. I think it gets touched 7 times before it gets on a shelf or something. Once it leaves our warehouse, which it's already been touched about 3-4 times. So trust me, with scaling, I think our 16-ounce plastic, if we can get AZ Zero off the ground like we're hoping, get it in a can, I really see it going that way. 100%. Honestly.
Yeah.
But I would say go ahead. All of that.
I want to try that. You've already.
100%. I've already drank one.
Super done with the one.
No, but like all of that to say that from a brand perspective, like being all in on glass, like this is what got you here. Like this isn't, it's not to say that this is bad. It's like, this is awesome because if you would have gone in plastic, you probably wouldn't be where you are today.
No way.
But it's just the challenges.
For sure.
And it's the commitment from the brand to stay with glass, which is what's
we might awesome. Maybe you have to get it in Arizona for it to be in glass. It'll be like hey, I want to travel. We go.
It's like Spotted Cow in Wisconsin. Have you ever had a Spotted Cow beer?
No.
It's only sold in Wisconsin. Like
that's cool.
You can only, and it's fine. The beer is fine, but like people like make treks to Wisconsin just to buy Spotted Cow. Like, awesome. that would be a cool sort of cool brand thing. Yeah, that's cool.
Well, I know you want to try it.
I do.
AZ Zero right in front of you. That's our zero sugar.
Okay.
And then that's the Jamaica. He already downed his.
Mine's gone. It's good.
You have 0 left. Am I right? Am I right? Zero left.
Zero calories, right?
Yeah.
So it works with my diet.
And then this is the zero strawberry. So I'll open this one up. I don't think I poured that one yet.
All right.
We can reuse that one.
This is Jamaica.
That's the Jamaica, the hibiscus tea.
Okay. Why do they call it Jamaica if it's hibiscus?
It's something to do with it. It's Jamaica is very much a Hispanic term. So
this is Jamaica.
It's Jamaica.
Jamaica.
Yeah, Jamaica.
Okay.
And it's hibiscus tea. We eventually want to do like an Arnold Palmer. We might call it an Arnaldo Palmer.
Oh yeah.
And do the Jamaica and the original eventually. That's the next innovation we're hoping to do.
This is really good.
It's super good.
He's good. And
hibiscus is like huge right now.
Yeah, and it's like very low calories. The whole jar's you drink the whole jar, it's 160 calories. So,
Wow.
you know,
Man.
And hibiscus is huge right now because it's got all these like health benefits. I don't know. I just like it.
Yeah, it tastes great.
then you got prickly pear. That's the pink,
This is this one.
the lighter pink one. Yeah, that's our most popular. Prickly pear, strawberry, and original are the top 3 SKUs as far as flavors go. You know, AZ0 I think is going to do well, but if you look at what Diet Coke, even Diet Coke only makes up I think 30-something%,
For sure.
which is crazy because you think it's Diet Coke, but it's
Right.
still Coke still reigns supreme. You know, people say they want to be healthier.
I like it because it's
Good
not
stuff.
like overly sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The
that's the original.
Let's make a
That's
good
the
margarita.
strawberry you got there.
So the bars are having this behind the bar.
Yeah, to use it as a mixer.
This is-
Mocktails are very popular. You know, this younger generation isn't drinking. So a
Limps.
lot of that is important. I think us working with Matt with Iconic Cocktails, cocktail, I should say. I always put an S at the end. He hates that. They usually they do non-alcoholic cocktail mixers. So it was, you know, he's been leaning into that for a number of years. So
Nice.
we do that. And that's the mango at the end there that you guys are trying. That's
mangoes will be served in heaven, I believe. Is what I've heard.
Is that
Yeah.
what they say?
I don't know. Queso for sure.
Queso.
Wine will be there.
Yeah.
Mangoes.
Dude,
probably,
these are
probably In and Out.
the hibiscus and the mango. They're all good. These are, I don't know which one's better. These are so good.
Yeah, the prickly pear is kind of the one that people are drawn to.
the
Just with
light
it
one,
being
right?
Arizona. That's the light pink one, yeah.
Man, I'm trying to figure out what's my favorite. Because here, like, I know we joked about Utah and like the soda shops. I
course.
don't drink soda at all.
Yeah,
I don't enjoy it. It's like there's too much sugar.
it is.
And so normally I am pretty like averse, like, okay, that's a lot of sugar.
Yeah,
I could drink any one of these. Like legitimately,
I appreciate it. Yeah.
it's a it's
And I think
really,
the
really
zero, what Tommy did that was so incredible is he got it close.
great. It doesn't
you know?
taste. It doesn't have that after like the
Yeah.
what's the Diet Coke aftertaste.
Oh yeah,
even
like
in like
acidity or whatever.
it's even in
it is.
like Coke Zero or
It's like
whatever
yeah.
it is.
aspartame.
aspartame. There you go. Yeah,
Aspirin.
aspirin.
No.
Yeah, I mean that's why we used monk fruit for the
Oh,
you know,
right.
sugar alternate for the AZ0. You know, look, it's a premium lemonade. It's not cheap, but we lean into that, and we're fine that Minute Maid might sell quicker than us. But when I talk with my, you know, some of the gas stations and stuff, they'll run through a case of our stuff in like 24 days, a 24 pack of bottles, and Minute Maid is like 14 days. It's like okay,
Yeah.
10 days to have a premium brand. You know,
Yeah.
I get it. They're burning through stuff more. They're also Minute Maid, which is owned by Coke, which
This
is
is the thing.
baby steps.
Are you in Maverick at all?
No, we've been talking with a lot of those, but no, not in any.
Man, I think you guys would kill it in Maverick. Like
Yeah.
if do you have a Maverick? Do you have Maverick?
They
down
have
here?
some. They have some here for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of Circle K's, Quick Trips here are
Yeah.
the big ones here, which we're starting to look like we're getting into. But we're in Jackson's, Four Sons, Cobblestone. We're in the Bash's families, the Bash's Food City, AJ's. We're in all those. We do really well in AJ's, and then we're in about 60 of the 120 fries right now, which is Kroger.
Yeah.
And we're about to go into hopefully 20 more of those.
Is Fry's Electronics? Is that still around?
It's
here?
funny.
It's the
I
same
think
logo.
The last one
I know.
closed. Well, they were like they were brothers or something,
Okay.
and they sold off the grocery, and then Kroger eventually bought it. I think it's funny because I looked into that. I think the last Fry's Electronic was like 19th Ave and Thunderbird, and I think that one closed.
I remember, like, in
the
California,
building's still
it's
there, and it looks like there's like snakes or something on it. That make it look
I don't know
like
why I used to when I would come down here for work a lot.
Yeah,
I just loved like wandering and getting lost in Fry's Electronics.
Of course.
It was just like the coolest. It was like a.
it was like a Circuit City on roids.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
right.
Not
It's
to date
amazing.
ourselves.
You know.
So,
Circuit
all right.
City.
So from a design perspective, we've got the die cut label, got the AZ0. I know you're thinking some pivots here and there as
course.
you continue to grow. What does the brand stand for, right? If we look at like a Liquid Death,
Of course.
right, or some of these other companies that like you see them and you know clearly who they are. I know you've been in business for a while. Who is this customer?
Yeah, I mean, I think what we are, we're a premium lemonade. You know, we're not going to trust me, we've looked at things like, hey, if we use RO water, we can stretch it more and do all these different things. We don't want to take away from the liquid, because I think that does get to what people coming back, because our reorder rate is so well that we don't want to mess with that. Another big thing is there's another company with the word Arizona in it. You might know it. It's in a can, and they're made in like New York, I think. New
York City. Remember that commercial?
So lemonade is the official drink of Arizona. The governor, Doug Ducey, before officially made it that, I think in 2018. And we thought, hey, we're Arizona. We're both two local kids, grew up here. I say kids, I'm in my late 30s now. So
me too.
We still think we're kids. But we were like, hey, we want to stick to the brand and what this is. It's a premium lemonade or hibiscus tea. And we want to continue to just do that and own that, really. So that's what the mason jar really, it gives it that premium feel glass. Are
you able to say Arizona on a drink because of this other company?
Oh yeah, they don't own that. Come after us. No,
don't. Like spell it out, right? Yeah. You got AZ on there.
Yeah, that's interesting. The AZ was probably just because we were trying to fit it on the label.
That's fair.
But I think if we called it, if we started saying Arizona iced tea, then
there's obviously a problem.
Then we're getting married.
It could be. I had a guy. His name's Jake Carls, and he's up in Canada. He owns him and his family started Midday Squares.
Okay.
And they got famously a cease and desist letter from Hershey's about something with their packaging or branding. So instead of fighting it, they spent money to make a diss, like a hip hop diss track against Hershey's. They did the change, right? So they weren't going to be in trouble. And they're like, you know what? And their YouTube video took off. That's and it helped their brand, and they're growing like crazy now. So maybe we'll have the AZ Lemonade Stand diss track.
Yeah, there you go.
With the famous rapper from Phoenix, who is
me,
Evelio.
I don't know who's a Phoenix rapper. I have no idea.
I don't know any.
Javi.
There you go. That's a good rap name.
Yeah, Javi's the guy.
Well, this is
rad.
So good.
I appreciate you guys.
And I love on the story on the label where it just says we just want to make the best lemonade.
Yeah.
And I love the simplicity of it, the focus on it. People, you obviously mentioned a bunch of places. Can people go buy this online if they're watching?
We sell it online. A lot of the shipping, bulk shipping the glass is always gonna, we're gonna pay probably more on shipping than lemonade. It's still worth it. But we're in, even if you have a layover at Sky Harbor, they have us in the airport.
Okay.
But we're starting to really move towards getting into some more West Coast markets. We have a lot of interest in Nevada, and we're starting to get into New Mexico. So if they're ever in Arizona, we're in over 1,000 stores here, and they can find it there. And our website has kind of where you can find us.
Sweet. Well, Kyle, we need to get you to the Notre Dame game. So
I'm not going to that.
Well, I know, but I'm saying was there a game here?
There was the Fiesta Bowl here. My family and I, we actually flew to South Bend and went to the game. I brought my 5-year-old son. It was freezing, but we had a blast.
That's amazing.
But yeah, we're excited to go watch them hopefully beat Georgia right now.
Yeah, that'll be fun. You're gonna wear your Rocket Ishmael jersey, or
yeah, there you go.
You know that
no,
one?
I didn't.
You got Rudy. Have you seen Rudy?
No.
The football movie?
I don't like football movies.
Rudy's more than a football movie.
It's
an underdog story.
Nah. I don't like underdogs. I like winners.
I like overdogs. Wait,
you rather have like The Last Dance, Michael Jordan's documentary, or something, just somebody that just dominates.
I don't think Evelio knows who Michael Jordan is.
I like the Conor McGregor documentary. Although we're not supposed to like him anymore, but that's a pretty dope documentary.
He's pretty cocky. I like him. He's awesome.
Well, Kyle, thank you so much for letting us
Thanks, man.
Enjoy some delicious lemonade.
Of course.
For letting me into this kitchen. For Evelio for driving all the way down here. You are the real superhero,
dude. I know.
For making the trek. Thanks, everybody. You can follow Evelio's podcast, Packaging Unboxed Podcast. Evelio and I every Monday, or even every day, maybe by the time this podcast comes out, we'll be on LinkedIn talking about packaging and highlighting some cool stuff, and maybe even have you back on where you're talking about your rebrand or whatever the new thing is. That'd be super fun.
For sure. What's the website?
azlemonadestand.com.
azlemonadestand.com.
Go and buy the mango and the Jamaica and tell me which is which do you like best?
I like the Jamaica. That was my favorite of all of them. The mango
so
was
good.
also delicious. It was all very good.
I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, there was no bad
None.
AZ
Amazing.
lemonade. Awesome. Thanks
Thanks,
everybody.
guys.